What is going on, guys? WHX2. Welcome to my live stream. I think I'm going to give you my personal thoughts on the Neo Saban era, why I've been pretty harsh on it. But let's just say that I still have to criticize the product. This is personal opinions on my experience with Neo Saban era and why I think it's been a terrible era for the Power Rangers franchise and why I think it needs to go. But thank God it's ending thanks to Hasbro. So with that being said, I'm going to go over a few things what I think Neo Saban era has done right and some of the things I think they've done wrong. So with that being said, here we go. Starting with Samurai. When Samurai came out in 2011, I was pretty excited to see, the franchise being brought back on TV. The first episode they aired was one of the stupidest things that they've ever done. They put the third episode on air on Nickelodeon ever since the premiere, and I think it's one of the stupidest things that they've ever done. Hold on. Episode, well, the third episode, as in the first episode of Samurai, which was not good. Then noticed something very strange as of lately. There was an episode about Kevin and Antonio, which was one of the best episodes, in my opinion, from Samurai, which is something that they've done. And then they went out and decided to do the origins of the Samurai team. I felt like Samurai was a copy paste of the Samurai Sentai Shikinger. And to me, Samurai was not that good because the acting was terrible, mixed bag at its best. There were a little fight scenes, almost fight scenes, but they could have done better. So I think Jaden was one of the worst Red Rangers in my opinion because the way that they write this character, he's just a copy paste of the Shiken Grey. I think one of the biggest issues with Samurai was the way that it was the lack of originality. And what I meant by that is just that the writers couldn't really come up with anything different. They just decided to make everything a copy paste of the Shikinger rather than its own flavor and its own style and unique difference. So when the second season came around, I hated it because again the acting was terrible. Kevin was one of the worst actors in my opinion because he still has some major issues with his acting skills. And hey, what's up, Aaron? How you doing? I think they're basically just the writers were telling the actor to how to act, whisper, like this is really not how you're supposed to treat actors, your employees. Like you are giving them jobs to act good, but it just seems like you're just telling them how to act, and that's not okay with me. Like if I was an actor, I would definitely start acting my own way instead of acting all whispering. I'm doing good yourself, man. I'm doing good, man. I'm blessed as always, man. I'm happy. But with the second season, I feel like they completely wasted enough energy because nothing about the second season was good because of the acting, the action, the fight scenes were just lackluster. And until Jaden's sister Lauren came along, Jaden decides to quit. I don't know why, but it's just kind of stupid. So he ends up finding Decker not once but twice. So, and then the others are trying to tell him that they don't care about Jaden's secret. And I don't know. I felt like Samurai was not even that good from the start. They barely put any originality into it. And one of my biggest issues with the Neo Saban era I had is when the Rangers are in the Megazord cockpit, like original footage wise, using Mega Modes, like the armor only for the Megazord cockpits rather than outside to use the fight foot soldiers, and that's one of the biggest issues I had with the new Spawn era. So, I think Samurai was not even that good. Like I said, there were some good elements from the series, but like I said, the whole series as a whole was executed very poorly due to writing, and I think the writers were pretty much the cause of the series were pretty bad. I mean, it's not the actors' fault, but I just felt like they could have done better. Like the writing staff could have done better. So Megaforce was probably the worst season because I feel like it's like a so-called 20th anniversary to represent the Rangers from the 20th seasons, rather than the from Sentai, from pre-Zyuranger teams like Flashman, Turbo Ranger, Mask Man, Bioman, Dire Ranger. I feel like they just lost respect for this season because I think Jonathan Tizasher, who was producer at the time of Megaforce and Super Megaforce, the season was very disappointing because I feel like they just lost a lot of effort. They put a lack of effort into what they do as far as stock footage wise. So I heard that Chip Lynn originally wanted to do Megaforce but declined because of reasons, and that's pretty much understandable. But even the season finale was terrible because of the writing. They brought back 10 past Rangers, and none of them made any impressions on me at all in the Neo Spawn era. Damien from Lost Galaxy didn't even talk. West didn't talk. Only Leo did when he asked the boy about Dog's name. He says it's a nice name. Then Tommy saves the boy from a falling car. And first they added the White Ranger's helmet on him. Here's the biggest issue I have with Super Megaforce. Okay, so they did all the hype of the promotion of the merchandise. I'm Tommy as Green Ranger, but it just seems like all of that was for nothing. They added the White Ranger's helmet on the face, and then once they all showed up, he came back as the Green Ranger, and that really pissed me off because there was no need for him to come back as the White Ranger at all. If you're gonna, I feel like the way the advertisement came about, it was so terrible, and I did not want to watch it. I think I would rather have that season to be erased out of my memory, because when I first saw it, I was horrified. So Super Megaforce was one of the worst seasons of all time, and it shows. Jonathan Disaster was fired due to abuse of Japanese stock footage, and Super Megaforce barely did anything original. So in first episode of Super Megaforce, they didn't even bother to use Maiden Morphin because they were the first team to ever come out in the US. So they bothered not to use the Maiden Morphin team first. And I would have definitely done that. And then the rest of the episodes were terrible. Just like Turbo, just like Overdrive. All the seasons were pretty bad. But I can tell you the one season that got me into it was Down Charge, because Down Charge was basically the good season in my opinion. Season 1 because of Tyler wanting to find his missing father for 10 years. It kind of sounds like Ryan Steele from VR Troopers when he wanted to find his father for 10 years. Hold up.
Believe why this woman was pulled out of this car by cops.
Get it on video! Try to get it on video! Get it on video! Get it on video!
Watch the next.
Okay, sorry, watching me. Getting back to what I was saying about Down Charge Season 1. Tyler is one of my favorite Rangers because he was searching for his father for 10 years, and it seems like once he found it in season 2, it was revealed that he was his father, and yet his father looks like he's in his 20s or mid 20s. But I realized that once you bond with the Inner Gems, you don't age. So it kind of makes sense, but season 1 had its biggest impact on my life because I love the stories, I love the theme, I love the action. There were a whole lot of unwanted fight scenes from Donald Charge. That's all we ever wanted, and I thank God that we finally had some good civilian fight scenes. So even the finale was great. Donald Supercharged, on the other hand, was not good because of the finale. The time travel was no need to be in the season at all. So you're gonna let the audience with big confusion. So I think Triple H lost his magic in the second season, and now Ninja Steel and Super Ninja Steel are pretty bad because Triple H is not stepping up to his plate. I feel like he's lost his magic again because he's letting other writers from Samurai Mega Force interfere with his work, and I think it's a pretty bad idea for him to do. But guess what though? Hasbro has finally brought the Power Rangers franchise. First they brought the toy line from Bandai, and now they brought the whole franchise as a whole from Saban. Franchise as a whole, I mean, some Saban seasons, Disney season, and some Neo Saban era seasons. The toy lines, games, you name it, everything is owned by Hasbro now. So I think there's going to be a good right direction from Hasbro as they come up with Power Rangers Beast Morphers. That is the next season of Power Rangers, and I'm looking forward to it. But in the end, I feel like the Neo Saban era has some good stories. It has some good elements to it. But regardless, it was still the worst season. I mean, the worst era of Power Rangers because it's on Nickelodeon. 6 months hiatus. Splitting the seasons into 2, and that's one thing I don't like. You cannot just sit there and tell me that splitting seasons into 2 can be good. It's not. So, like I said, the Neo Saban era has some good elements, but it was executed very poorly. So, Down Charge Season 1 was the only exception that I would accept because of Chip Lane. And I follow Brandon Magia on Instagram, and he's been putting out some good advice on any healthy fit tips for today versus, and I feel like the dude became a role model for me because I feel like he's healthy, he's living that healthy lifestyle, but in my opinion, I'm not even healthy, as you guys can see here. Sorry. But hopefully sooner or later I'll probably go on a diet so that I can build muscle, so that I can look good and feel good. Trying my best to live a healthy lifestyle. But I don't want to be it forever, but I can just always take a little break from eating healthy foods and go back to junk food. And once I do that, I'll probably go back to, the healthy routine so that I can stay on track. So if I want to live longer, I gotta eat healthy. So I think that was the point of Brandon Magia's Instagram posts, stories of him putting out fit tip videos, and I find it pretty hard for myself to stay in shape because one, I barely exercise. So even though I look like I'm in shape, but I'm not. I'm out of shape. I don't have any muscles on me right now, but I mean, once I get to working out, I probably could, but it's hard to stay track on my workouts every day because sometimes I'm really, really lazy, and I am right now. But that's the only admissions I can do, I can admit. So, like I said, Hasbro is making Power Rangers franchise good again. We're gonna see come next year when Power Rangers Beast Morphers debuts on Nickelodeon. I believe Hasbro can do a great job, not only with the toy line, but the franchise as a whole, such as Transformers, the Marvel Legends line, But with Power Rangers, I feel like they can do a good job so far. But to the newest Bond era, sayonara. If y'all enjoyed this video, subscribe, comment, follow me on Instagram, WNewsJack2. Peace.